welcome to the ceremony of awarding your 203 micro and small companies through a transparent process procured 700 new machines and equipment with the introduction of complementary services contributed to better productivity, better quality, and a wider range of products, better competitiveness, and everything resulted in the increase of the income of over 92% and export by 46%. With all of this, your companies opened 582 new jobs, and what is especially important is that they included also more vulnerable categories. Over 50 companies employ workers in the rural areas and 255, that is 44% of women. We are especially proud of the fact that with the grant implementation, you implemented social responsible activities that, from which many people benefited in the local communities in which your companies do business operations. They included renovating schools, kindergartens, support to the institutions to people with disabilities, local environmental activities, renovating sports fields, support to cultural sports societies and events, support to hospitals and primary healthcare centers, and so on. These activities that were not suspended during the pandemic. Many companies put their resources at the disposal of the local community, producing protective equipment, disinfectants, and other items. The pandemic has shown the sensitivity of micro and small companies to market changes, but also your extreme flexibility. Some of your companies almost entirely changed their product range, adapting to the new market conditions. I have to mention the fact that in the initial field visit, we met a lot of entrepreneurs working on machines that were older than themselves. Many bought their first equipment through the UPRO program, and most of you met with the procurement procedure for the first time, which wasn't very simple to implement. But we believe that entrepreneurs, that is you, will use this experience in your further business operations. In addition to the support and equipment and introduction of services, support to 623 companies was provided through projects to support business operations worth over 620,000 euros. Although these projects were written considerably before the pandemic, organizations to support business operations recognize the importance of digitalization of operations, and most of the projects dealt with this topic, which during the pandemic came to the fore. But there were many challenges, especially because of the pandemic. It was not possible to organize training, study tours, participation in fairs. We overcame these challenges, finding alternative ways of implementing the planned objectives. Special gratitude goes to members of the steering committee of EU-Pro, headed by the EU delegation members and members of the Ministry of European Integrations and other institutions, and for the small and medium-sized enterprise sector, to the Agency for Business Development of Serbia, who supported and actively participated in the implementation. I'd like to thank also to development agencies who provided support to the companies to apply to public calls, thus contributing to a better response and better quality of applications. I'd like to thank to the small but selected EU-Pro team whose integrity, professionalism, tenacity, and patience in work with the users were decisive in the successful implementation of the project, but also the communication of the EU-Pro, which presented your successful project to the general public. Above all, it is our pleasure that we were able to meet you, diligent people full of enthusiasm and energy to fight for themselves and their families to ensure better prosperity and better future. Thank you for professional cooperation. I congratulate you for successfully implemented projects, and we believe that in your future operations you will achieve even better results and development, that you will be true ambassadors of future development projects and support provided to small and medium-sized companies. Unfortunately, due to the current situation, we cannot gather you all live. We only have some of you present here who supported the UPRA program. We have Dragana Stojadinovic from Regional Development Agency, JUG.
Iz Regionalne razvojne agencije JUG, koja je realizovala projekat
who
pod
implemented the project entitled Laboratory for Entrepreneurship and Innovations regarding cooperation with small and medium-sized companies in Serbia. And I'd like to ask Dragana Stojanovic to tell us a few words about her experience in implementing the EU project.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Dragana Stojanovic, RDA Niš. Before I say something shortly about the project that we implemented, I want to thank the EU program for recognizing, together with the EU delegation, with support of the government of the Republic of Serbia, the potential of RDA is to identify support to SMEs. The program recognized the RDA implemented the project of support to the SME sector in the territory of Eastern Serbia. I need to say something. Well, I prepared really well for this, but you know, particular lab space that we developed provides the opportunity for entrepreneurs to communicate in one place together with students, representatives with higher education institutions, exchange knowledge and experiences, learn something new, give support to the SME sector for their further development. The point of the whole story is that we, even earlier through some other projects working on research, we saw that entrepreneurs, it is very difficult for entrepreneurs to implement innovations in their business operations. We all know that if there are no innovations implemented and if some new elements are not introduced into business operations, entrepreneurs is often banished from the market. So at the beginning of this project, we selected some 20, actually exactly 20 companies in the territory of Niš, Toplica, Pirot. The initial plan was to choose 10 among these 20 that might be the best for introducing some innovations that are not so technologically demanding, but because we all know the idea was to select 10 out of the 20 for further education, but since the entire project was implemented during the pandemic, when we were all closed in and we were working in difficult conditions, the majority of companies worked with smaller, reduced capacities. Some even shut down their businesses. But two new things emerged from this. They recognized themselves that they wish to develop and continue working, that they need to introduce some innovations in their business operations. And on the other hand, it provided us with the opportunity through the project to include everybody interested in online education, not only the 10, but to increase the number of SMEs that would be involved in the project and learn something new. We engaged students in the project. They applied via a call that was published on our Facebook page. And we had a total of 15 students that we divided in 3 groups of 5 each. 2 groups were students from the Faculty of Economy, and the second and third group was mixed with students from technical, machine, and architectural engineering. And they did the studies and got tasks. Some of the issues that were the most important for them were digital marketing, business development, developing new products, monitoring production processes. So in accordance with this, we split the students. So the group from the economic faculty of economy was in charge of digital marketing and business improvement, while students from technical universities were in charge of the innovative new products and monitoring production processes. Well, I have to stress that the students were very hardworking, that they really got involved in the work process, and we decided to reward them in the end, giving them some small fees and presents. In parallel, we worked on equipping this joint workspace, which was equipped in accordance with the technology and innovation. It is still functional, so the entrepreneurs and students and everyone involved production programs can use this space in the future too, to ensure sustainability of the project. What we did was to develop a digital platform in our lab.net, because the point was to, after the end of the project, uh, people could get new information, new knowledge, and on the other hand, without being limited by physical space, which proved to be very important during the pandemic, to keep communicating, to keep cooperating, and maybe learn something new even. Essentially, thank you once more for recognizing RDAs as support providers to the MSc sector. I've heard today that there will be a sequel program, EU Pro Plus, which I hope will give us the opportunity to continue our cooperation. Thank you, Dragana. Of course, within EU Pro, we set very good foundations for future cooperation, and the sustainability of all projects is very important. As you've said, that after the finalization of EU Pro and the support provided to the projects keeps yielding results in the future period. If you remember, during the promotion of the second call for SMEs, we asked the beneficiaries from the first call to participate. In order to make this activity even more attractive, we promised to award those that attract even more, the most companies to apply. So the most active was Ivana Panovic from the first call, and I would like her to invite her now to join Ms. Milica Panovic from EU Pro to give her the award. Thank you very much for your cooperation and participation in EU Pro, and all the best in your future business endeavors. Congratulations from my side too. I would like to ask Ivana to shortly tell us about her experience with EU Pro program and how she applied and the results of support. Hello everyone, I'm Ivana Panovic. owner of the shop for processing and conserving fruit and vegetables. I heard for the call through social media and information. This is how I get information on the topics of interest to me. I wrote a project. I was supported by RDA Zlatibor. They assisted me in fully developing the project to be easy to understand for people who have not had the experience with my company. Through the donation, I received equipment which accelerated my business process, and I got the CCP certificate. Afterwards, I was called from the communications department to make a promotional video. For the second call, we had a really nice time in my environment, and suddenly half of Serbia called me because you sent out those flyers at 10,000 addresses. I was very happy to be able to talk about the call and the team and to assist other beneficiaries to dare and apply to write their projects in a way, proposals in a way they can be understood and overcome all obstacles to access these funds. I'm really happy to be a part of this final event, even though it is in digital form. I would like to say hello to all receivers of awards, to congratulate them at their success, because these projects will enable them to overcome the situation that we are all in, not only Serbia, but the entire planet, and to use these funds in a smart way to improve their businesses. I would like to also thank the entire team, also my focal point, Milica Koric. We had a lot of correspondence, and to everyone who are still working on the follow-up project. Thank you very much, Ivana. Too, I would like to ask you to turn your cameras on to show your certificates, put them by on the side of your face, not in front of your face, so we can make a joint photo. This is a way for us to have some memento from this program. We will wait a few moments to see Mr. Stanic if he can join us. We know that EU Pro program and its support is only one of the steps in your development. Right after the end of this program, entrepreneurs are thinking about new investment cycles, new ways on how to improve their competitiveness. This is why we, for you and the broader audience, organized a panel on this topic, on the topic of SME competitiveness in 2021. You saw that we have prepared some relevant panelists for you. So after a short break of 5 minutes, we will continue with this panel. So please stay on this same link, on this same meeting. I wish you all the best in your future business endeavors. We are here and open for future cooperation. As we already said, the EU Pro Plus program has already started with implementation, and you will be timely informed about all the activities of the program, public calls, and we hope that you will be our best ambassadors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the panel discussion on how competitive our small and medium-sized enterprises are. There were many challenges even before the COVID pandemic, and now we have an additional challenge. It's not a problem for our companies in view of how they coped in the past year and a half. There are many open issues and ways of assisting more. In this event, we are marking a successful closure of one project that assisted the small and medium-sized companies a lot. One of the segments was focused on improving the competitiveness of small businesses, and we know how important small businesses are, how it helps the families, and how it is part of a cycle, and it's important for it to be broadened. We have very relevant interlocutors. We have Milovan Glušić, State Secretary in the Ministry of Economy, Mrs. Milko Pešić, Director of the Scientific Technological Park in Čačak, Jelena Janković, owner of the company Nanin Recipe from the south, from Vranje. Thank you. We will see Mrs. Janković during the panel. I'd like to welcome Davor Nitić, owner of the company Drvo Team 80 from Ivanjica, Predrag Stošić, director of the social company Radinska Ruža from Lebane, and Milica Korać on behalf of the small and medium-sized enterprises the program. You are our host in fact, together with me. Thank you for being here. Just some numbers to show how we are starting the whole story. The EU has assisted over 200 micro and small companies and entrepreneurs with over 4.3 million euros. The funds were used to procure equipment, which helped to improve the business operations, the quality of products and services. Over 580 jobs were created. We know how important it is, especially now that we have the pandemic and the crisis. Mrs. Glušić, the Ministry of Economy is the first address that should care about small and medium-sized companies. How are you doing this in the past year? How are you supporting them? I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me. Firstly, I'd like to commend this program. It is very well organized by the EU. It was focused on financing the small businesses. When we're talking about the sector where we are entering the sphere of small and medium-sized companies, these are the companies that we call small companies, but small companies that can have a larger number of employees and a larger turnover. The Ministry of Economy considers this an important sector in its operations, and one of our sectors dealing with the development of small and medium-sized companies is focused on the development of this activity. In the past year, like in the previous years, we allocated a certain sum that for the development of small, medium-sized companies, around 3 billion dinars for procuring equipment. But we also have several programs that significantly influence the development of the entrepreneurship. What I noticed is that EU Pro financed and supported exactly the entrepreneurs, micro companies, in fact. It is period of existence in a company between 1 and 5 years, what we noticed, and that is, which is a rule, is that companies that live out this period until year 5, they enter a business life where in the 6th year they are able to cope on the market on their own. They are more capable than in the first 3 years. For over 15 years, we have been financing the establishment of new companies, the so-called startup projects. Since last year, we introduced another program, which is very important for the users of these funds, and that is we are financing, just like the EU Pro, companies up to 5 years old. We focused on vulnerable groups. These are women entrepreneurs and young people, young founders, young entrepreneurs. This is a continuation of our startup credit. You can withdraw some funds. A large part of it are the grants. You get favorable credit, and then in the second year, with the second annual account, we can apply for new funds, which can be used for companies that are aged up to 5 years, where majority owners are women, women entrepreneurs, or for young entrepreneurs up to 30 years of age. We developed the statistics of the users of startup credit. Since 2016, the ministry improved this program line. We allocated 40% of grants for newly founded companies. And if you want to start a business, you can come to us. That is our agencies. That is the development fund. You can get credit and 30 to 40% of grant funds. We've been doing this since 2016, and before that, we only had more favorable credit funds. We cannot let young people establish companies on the market where they cannot get loans from banks, especially if you're a young entrepreneur and entering the world of business and you want to start your own business and you come to the bank and the bank is just not ready to finance that. They are asking for high collaterals and securities, and that's how we decided to do startup loans, and a lot of funds were invested in this field. Before I conclude, I'd just like to say that in these discussions with the users of our credit funds, with young entrepreneurs, in cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce, commercial associations, we are glad that we can share the experiences with people who have started their businesses, and these businesses are up to 5 years old. As far as I could notice, we are in this environment because it's important to hear from them as to what they believe. We often hear from people who are in business for over 15 years, but you need to survive the first 5 years. And what we did since last year, we had a new program. We are aware that all beginners in business, when I say beginners, they're in their third or fourth year. They don't need only financial assistance. They have to have idea. We are there to offer funds, grant funds, and to see what we can do. But since last year, together with developmental agencies, we decided to use the capacity of regional development agencies. We have very good cooperation with them. Regional agencies and companies monitor, and they are sort of a voice. So people can enter the regional offices in Čačak, Zlatibor, Niš to get relevant information, advice on how to deal with the tax authorities, how to ensure new funds. They have to have information about fund sources, national and international. It is important in these 3.5 years of the EU project, you were directly involved and provided direct support to it. In which form? The EU Pro program was included with our sector for small and medium-sized companies. We will continue cooperating with the EU regarding other programs as well, and what we can give is qualified knowledge about the distribution of these funds. The Ministry of Economy allocates really considerable funds for financing small and medium-sized companies. They should be the basis in addition to the large companies, of course. They form almost 90% of the companies, and they are the basis of every economy. It's not just a phrase, it is true. Thank you, Mr. Pešić. What became the basis of the development of life in the pandemic and the development of companies is digitalization. Corona taught us a lot, and you were visionaries because your technological park was founded even before it, and you started the project even before the pandemic. How was it before the Corona pandemic, and what changed? Thank you for your invitation, and good afternoon to all the participants, all those present live and those online. We started this project, which helped us a lot, especially in the past 2 years, when we developed at an accelerated rate. We were founded in 2011, as far back as then. In 2014, we have been operational to business incubators. We could not envision the pandemic and such needs for the digitalization in the economy and all walks of life. But this project is very important for us. It brought many benefits and new services from us and created a serious environment for the development of digitalization in small and medium-sized companies for the city of Čačak and the broader area. Our technology park is the center of the regional organization that covers the Moravica district, Raška district, Zlatibor district, local self-governments that refer to our city. So through this project, SMS Digital, through the organization to support business operations, we included IT companies developed through the scientific technological park. We supported the young companies get favorable environment. We are cooperating with educational and research institutions. So we link these companies working with in our capacities and companies that are larger and have their own premises and their business operations to try and connect them so that they can cooperate for the purpose of digitalizing small and medium-sized companies that our region is famous for. In addition to everything planned by the project, we had additional benefits. We had the voluntary activities. We involved people to assist in their business companies, small and medium-sized companies, to enter the world of business in communication with business partners through organizing meetings and through solving certain business processes related to digitalization. The project, as I say, was well prepared. There were many activities, and due to the pandemic, additional benefits were created, which we managed to channel. Does your experience confirm this thesis? What took us 2 or 3 years to introduce digitalization, to get it accepted, it was now a matter of a day or a week. That's true, that the economy or the business people who are leaders in their communities will not wait for someone else to solve their problems when they are faced with a situation like this, at the onset of the pandemic. They had to change their habits and to accept digitalization, however much they resisted it before. and postponed it. So in a very short time, the digitalization was accepted. Thank you. You gave me a great cue because we have business people who are users of these funds from the UPRO program. We have entrepreneurs who got grant funds to purchase new machines, but also those who did not go in order. Mrs. Jelena Jankovic, she successfully leads her business called Nana's Recipe from the South. Can you hear us, Mrs. Jankovic?
Gospođo Janković, hvala vam. I Davor Micić.
And Davor Micić, who is the manager of the carpentry business from Ivanica. What is your company dealing with? What sort of support do you obtain from UPRO program?
It is a small craftsmanship, making products in the traditional way for over 30 years. We come from the far south, and we are well known for this. In addition to winter preserves and sweet preserves, through this project, you got grant funds to buy machines. What did this change in your business operations? UPRO helped us pave the way towards increasing our production and getting into the market. This was the first public call we participated in, and owing to UPRO, we increased our production. We received machines that were necessary for us, and UPRO opened the door for us to improve our production. On this way, on this road, how much did the pandemic present an obstacle, considering it coincided with the purchase of machines? Well, you know what? The pandemic was an obstacle regarding we actually placed our products. We had a contract with the airport for the duty-free shop, and we signed it just as Corona started. So all this was halted. Considering that this is food, other opportunities arose, and we used our online shop, which had a good turnover. We even exported products to Switzerland, and for the first time we started to export. We were pioneers this year in exporting. Our people who work and live there ordered the products, so a good bit of our products were exported to Switzerland. Thank you very much. I will have another question for you during the panel. Davor, a question for you. It's the same question. You also applied for a grant. You received, you were awarded the funds, you bought the machines, and then the crisis began. We want to thank you for inviting us to participate in this panel. We were very fortunate not to be affected very much by the pandemic because we already had some contracts before the pandemic to equip housing buildings. Our company from Ivanica makes furniture from panels. We do tailor-made furniture. And as most of you know, in our market, big companies are present with serial production of furniture. Often this furniture is not suitable to the end user regarding the dimensions, design, colors. So this is where we saw our opportunity, and it seems we were right. We weren't much affected by the pandemic because we already had some contracts for equipping, but the measures that regarded movement restrictions made it challenging for us for our logistics. We made the furniture and stored it. And after the relaxation of the measures, we started with deliveries and assembly. This resulted in us being able to work with our full capacities to hire workers, but also meet our obligations. You adapted quickly and reorganized. I also need to Yes, you showed flexibility. Yes, flexibility is very, very important. But I also have to say that we had an additional challenge during the pandemic, which is to acquire raw materials coming from imports. During the pandemic, deliveries were not regular. We stored as much as we could and switched to local suppliers, which is also a benefit for our economy. So you bought a new machine from the EU Pro program. To what extent did the machine contribute to your production, especially under these new circumstances? Yes, during the first call, we got new machines for making parts of the furniture, and we replaced our old machines, which increased our productivity. And we introduced some new services that we provide to other companies. And we presented new products and new services on the market. And this resulted with our new and modern equipment, our business profit increased by even 40%, even though it was the pandemic. We didn't expect it ourselves, but we was very fortunate. Yes, what sets EU Pro program aside from others is that one of the criteria is the corporate social responsibility within the community the companies do their business in. Predrag, you are here now with us today because your company is known broadly, not only in your area, by this social sensitivity. How important is it to be socially responsible in these times, especially the times of the pandemic? Yes, hello everyone. Corporate social responsibility is something that we've insisted on since the establishment of our company at the beginning of 2016. And as EU Pro, European Progress, and other programs developed, so did we. It was first established as a public-private partnership through the project funded by the European Progress. Then we started organic production. In the under the last call, we got equipment, which was important for us because we bought cooling storage. And afterwards, we bought equipment for sterilization. We employ women with disabilities, single mothers, and women victims of violence and marginalized, and how to employ women. Also, our focus is that our cooperating entities are small farms producing for their own needs. And then over the last 5 years, they reorganized their production to meet our needs, and they sell everything to us. So we also initiated primary organic production in mountain areas. At the moment, we have 4.5 hectares of land, and this helped us in the sense that our entire organic production is being exported. Another aspect of our corporate social responsibility is that Every year we have actions where we donate our products to those who need it. We did it in school in Leskovac, shelter for street children, women's shelter. We cover this in the media not to show off, but to stimulate other companies to get involved in such activities. Because I have to say, it is an incredible feeling when you give to somebody who really needs it. When we were at the safe house in Niš for street kids, our products are very bulky, and the children helped us carry, and their smiles were something that I had never experienced before, and I hope I will experience again. So I think that this is something that is necessary in our society. Have you seen that your positive example really inspired other companies to raise awareness on social responsibility? Because Radenska Ruža is renowned throughout Serbia, not only in your area. It's a wonderful example. Thank you very much for your kind words. We covered all our activities in the media, and the school where we had the action, the principal told us they had more donations in the form of food and learning aids for the children. So media promotion of this and talking about it can certainly help to raise awareness, not only among companies, but also among people who can help other people who in it. As we say, our little is somebody else's a lot. So, Milica, if we summarize everything that's happened over the last 3.5 years, we've heard 580 new jobs, but these are not only numbers, these are the people's lives. What would you say as something the most important within this program? Thank you, Vesna. I would like to thank all panelists before EU Pro for their participation. I have to say that over the last 3.5 years, we worked intensively on providing support to SMEs with financial support from the EU and in cooperation with the Ministry for European Integration and the Ministry of Economy. And we also heard today from other panelists that this type of support that was received from EU Pro for small businesses is really significant. And we did talk a lot about numbers today. We mentioned there were 203 companies that created over 580 new jobs. But the essence is that these companies modernize their production, introduce new products, improve the existing products. They, on one hand, extended their own market possibilities and opportunities, but also contributed to improve their business environment. Very often, when you acquire a new machine, it requires new electronic installations or improving the facilities. So it brings benefits to the employees and the owners of these companies as well. Another important thing is that through this type of support, we manage to support companies to introduce standards, acquire certificates, to be more competitive in both the domestic and the international markets. Yes, it's true, Corona slowed us down. On one hand, but on the other, it accelerated the development of SMEs because some of them might not have considered to open a website or online sale. But today, this is a reality, and out of necessity, some of these things will happen. It is also important that all the results that we achieved are a witness or prove that these grants are important. And I think that the EU recognized the importance of investing in SMEs. So through the new program EU Pro Plus, already the next month, we will have a new public call, which will this time be for business support organizations. Through the EU Pro program, we supported over 620 businesses indirectly. This will be the first public call in autumn this year for SMEs with significant funds through EU Pro Plus. We have a lot of experience, lessons learned. We will try to implement all this through the EU Pro Plus. Of course, in cooperation with the Ministry of Economy, we will have new partners. We have cooperated with the regional agencies, development agencies of Serbia, regional development agencies. We'll have Ministry of Youth and Sports, Chamber of Commerce. We will try to involve all relevant institutions, both at the local and the national levels. And we hope that this will make this type of support as important as it has been over the last 3.5 years. Something for you. I would like to ask you, business owners, what you plan over the next year. Mrs. Yankovic, if you can hear us, what is your next business step and where do you see your biggest challenges lying? The next step would be to expand our production, which, owing to EU Pro, we turned from a seasonal workshop to a continuously open workshop with the employed workers. We want to increase production and the number of employees. We want to expand our range of products. We plan to start producing juices, natural juices without any artificial ingredients, to re-enter into the duty-free shop at the Belgrade airport. And so to say, be stronger than we were in the last 3 years of our business. I wish you all the best and lots of success in your work. I want to thank the EU Pro team once again. Not only were they our donors, but they were our support and assistance. The team that worked in the south with us, Goran and Evgenia, because without them, we would still be this little unknown workshop working seasonally. And according to them, we have received the Premium 5. Yes, thank you. Davoro, what is a challenge for you in your business plans? Where do you see yourself in a year? In the coming period, something that is most important for us, I've mentioned that we increased our capacities and size. We want to now switch to exports, specifically to the markets of Bosnia and Croatia. We have a contract signed. We hope that the situation will improve. The Corona will not return, and we will be able to finalize this. As regards your experience with EU Pro, we heard how important it was for Jelena, not only professional support, but also human support, especially in a smaller environment. Yes, that's right. I would also like to thank the European Union on everything that they did and their representatives, people who literally worked with us. There were days when we spoke on the phone dozens of times. They were there for us. And as she said, if it hadn't been for them, we would have been at a previous level. and they enabled us to improve our business operations, to employ new workers, to start doing business more seriously at a larger scale. Our company had one employee before this. This investment enabled us to open three more jobs. Next year, we will open at least one and hopefully even more new jobs. So it was very important for us. Thank you and good luck with all these plans and the implementation. And when it comes to Radenska Ruža, how do you see yourself in 1 year?
We have so many plans. Our goal is to expand primary organic production. In addition to the export of organic products to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, we want to offer our organic products to the local market as well, because there is demand for healthy, organic, certified products. As for your program, I keep stressing that they're not our donors, they are our friends. In addition to giving us money to buy the equipment, I think they are our best promoters also. They always promoted us wherever they were, not only us, but all the companies. And I am really, truly grateful to them. Without them, we wouldn't exist today. Good luck, Mr. Pešić. How will the economy digitalize in a year or a month? What is key from your perspective for all the business people who are with us, who are watching us? What is important for them to know regarding digitalization of business operations? Digitalization is really broad scaled everywhere, especially in the economy. And we are the leader in our region. We continuously monitor developments in digitalizations. Our future is to keep investing in education. Those young people who will implement digitalization, new technologies, innovation. These are students in universities, in secondary schools. They are the basis of the digitalization future. It is based on the education and the development of young personnel. We also need to provide training to business people, because we all need to assess the opportunities offered by digitalization, what benefits it will bring us, and how best we can use it. So in our development plans is to go in that direction, to develop our capacities together with other scientific technological parks where we are promoting innovation and export, especially in startup companies. Thank you and good luck to you as well. Mr. Jusic, it wasn't by accident that I left you for the end. You heard about the plans of the business people, what challenges they're faced with. I'm sure you are planning the budget for next year, how to help the economy, especially small and medium-sized companies. What is key that you will be working on in the ministry? You are right. We are already making forecasts for the next year. I have to say, we did focus on small and medium-sized companies in previous years, and also for the next year, we adopted around 10 decrees that refer to assistance to economy, to the development of small, medium-sized companies. It is nice to see each other in this way. I'm glad that they will be cooperating with the other institutions like the Chamber of Commerce and other ministries. This can only lead to improved effects. What I can tell to these funds users and people who are entering this economic life is They must not stop with development. Your future is in development. And invest as much as you can in the development of your company, equipment, digitalization. There is a series of programs that the Ministry of the Economy has developed, not only with cooperation with the EU, but with members of various chambers like the German Serbian Chamber and others. There is a series of programs where the chain of suppliers, you have to monitor all these programs, and digitalization is indisputable. You have to go in that direction. So look at all the programs that the Ministry of the Economy is publishing. Try to be there, to get involved. There are always grants, favorable loans that you can use to procure equipment. You look to use this first and then go to the financial market. All these programs have been developed for you. If there is an opportunity to improve these programs, I'd like to hear from business people what their biggest problems and obstacles are if they cannot compete. What is the problem in competing? Is it collateral or other things? And then in the ministry, we prepare for the new year and are looking at improving new programs to adjust them to our users, our business people. You are our primary focus, the small and medium-sized companies, and there are many questions for you through our chat now as we talk. There have been a couple of questions. One question, is there an opportunity for assistance in getting certificates in operating on the market of the EU? There are opportunities, but their certificates are an obstacle. This is Milana and Milica. Yes, they are dealing with this. There are many authorized authorities doing certification. We are developing one of the programs, and we have come up with this idea. I think we will implement it in early next year. And that is the financing. We'll participate in the financing of standardization of companies, issuing certificates. And the plan is to see how we will implement this program. Will we finance the certificates or finance the standardization of the management in your company? In any case, we plan to do it in next year. How can we help? We are doing the regulations around it. We cannot participate in specific assistance as to how you can reach that, except through regional developmental agencies if we make an arrangement for next year so that we can participate in financing consultancy services in obtaining certificates. Thank you. We have another question for you. Are you perhaps planning support in providing revolving funds for procuring raw materials and so on? Within the development fund of the Republic of Serbia, we have a loan facility which finances the revolving funds. This facility is approved every 4 years. You have a grace period, and I think the interest rates are 1 to 1.8%. So you can compete now, and at the development fund, you can log into their website, see what documents you need, and as soon as tomorrow, if you can collect the documents, you can compete. And from Milica, for you, just to round up this story with EU Pro Plus, when is it starting? Who can apply? What are the criteria? Let's just repeat this. How long will it last? EU Pro Plus will have the first call within the sector for the small and medium-sized companies. We are planning it for next month through the organization to business support organization. And under EU Pro, we had the projects which support the certification, introduction, QMS, and various necessary standards. So I believe that this time as well, the organization will join us and develop such projects because we had a huge demand for them, and this will certainly be available a specific calls for small and medium-sized companies is planned for this autumn, and very probably this will be exclusively procurement of new equipment, but the calls will be relevant in terms of adjusted to the current situation dictated by the pandemic. We certainly will consult the Ministry of the Economy, and we tried to be synchronized in terms of the time periods when we publish calls and when they publish calls. So the business people always have at their disposal some sort of assistance they can count on. Thank you. And I wish you a lot of success in your future projects. Thank you for participating in this panel. I think we elucidated what happened in the past 3.5 years and how important it is to participate in such programs. Follow the projects of the Ministry of the Economy because it offers opportunities, because you get information and you need to invest in digitalization. Thank you all for being with us today.